Hello. It says that I'm alive, or it says I'm live, but I am alive. Hello. How are you? Stevie, good morning. Michael, good morning. Peg, good morning. Lynn, flip flop day. Really? I wear flip flops all the time. I love flip flops, although honestly, flip flops are kind of dangerous. Peg, have you found that? I always wear flip flops, and I will tell you that definitely having a hip replacement has made me a much more cautious person and very aware of things. And I don't think slipping and tripping is just a part of aging, but I will tell you that there's a couple of times I have like tripped in my flip flops. And even though I love to wear them, I tell myself probably not the safest shoes for us to wear for fall prevention. So, wondering if any of you have felt that way about flip flops. I need to plug in my computer. So, anyway, just an observation I've made, and I don't know. We only know who we are, right? So for me, because I've had this issue with my bones and I'm precarious or cautious with certain things, I don't know if that's normal. Would I normally be this way at this age, or is it because of what I experienced that makes me so aware in that way? But I do think that flip-flops, for some reason, they're slippery or they can get caught on things. But I do wear them. I wear them with awareness. Let's say that. So it's National Flip Flop Day. Wear your flip flops with total awareness. That's what I'll say. All right, slippy slidey. Yeah, it is. You're right. But I'm trying to think, like when people share with me issues that they've had or if they've fallen, I don't know if flip flops is ever a part of our discussion. So maybe it's not as prominent as I would think. Nancy, did I say hello to you? I hope you're doing well. So I was not here last week. I will tell you that in the 8.5 years that I've taught yoga for Torrance Memorial, which this is an extension of that, the hospital in Southern California, for the 8.5 years that I have taught there, I have missed 2 times. And I will tell you, I have really good reasons. The first one was when I had pneumonia, when I went to Zurich, Switzerland for my 50th birthday, and I had a cough, and they gave me a cough suppressant with codeine, which made the mucus stay in my lungs, which eventually turned into pneumonia. And then last week I missed because my father-in-law passed 2 weeks ago, and the ceremony to scatter his ashes was last Wednesday. That was the scheduled day. So a very good reason to not be here with you all. Hopefully you were able to practice something on your own. And now we're here. So sorry for any inconvenience. Glad you're here. Oh, really? No sound? Got it now. Okay. Strengthen your toes. Ooh, Stevie, that is a really good observation. We're talking about flip-flops because today's National Flip-Flop Day. We're talking about, do they strengthen your toes? Yes, you're going to have more of gripping, right? You're going to be more cautious. So wear your flip-flops with awareness. Strengthen your toes. Do not trip, slip, or fall, and have fun doing so. All right. Perfect. Okay, so anything that any of you have that's going on, this class Wednesday, Yoga for Wellness, the focus for me on this class is either you share something that's an issue for you, which doesn't happen as often as it used to. It used to be such a guide for me in my classes. People would come up to me and say, oh, my this hurts, or my that hurts, or my this, or my that. And maybe we're all just so confused with what hurts now. Maybe that's, a symptom of whatever it is a symptom of. But maybe there's a muddling of what it is that's bothering us, or if anything is, or if everything is. So my focus in this class is to work on functional groundwork for keeping yourself strong and healthy, because mobility in your joints, flexibility in your joints, and strength in your stabilizing muscles, which are tiny muscles that either hold the bones together or hold your body in a certain position. So whether it's one muscle or groups of muscles, those are really small muscles and they don't require movements. And most of us spend most of our time with the bigger type movements. Opportunity for us to slow down our practice, to connect mind to our practice, and to work on that stabilizing functional aspect of our health and our physical, mental, emotional body. All right, I'm going to go back and start. If you have anything to report, I cannot see it from here. For today's practice, please get your props handy, a block and a strap and a blanket are props that you'll need for your practice. Make sure everything is folded nicely because you want that visual representation. Take your blanket, fold your blanket, and put your blanket at the top of the mat. We're going to come down onto the ground. We're going to use gravity as our friend and let this help to settle your posture. Now, when we come down, I want you to arrange your skeleton. So we're being held in a way that our body has become accustomed to. So when we sit a lot, when we do a lot of things, there are certain patterns that develop in your body. And if you could become your own guide, become your own physical therapist, yoga therapist, chiropractor, if you could become your own x-ray machine and actually notice where are you being held so that you can actually help to find proper alignment. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to come down onto our back. The shoulder blades are right behind your heart. They're two triangular shaped bones. When we come down onto the ground, let's try to bring our shoulder blades onto the back of our body so that we can stretch some of the spine, some of the shoulder joint muscles. We're going to come down onto the ground. We're going to use breath. We're going to connect our mind and our body to this present moment to allow that internal healer to turn on so that we could start repairing and healing deep on the inside in ways that we're not maybe aware of, but that's what's happening when we're very present moment. So put your props off to the side, put your blanket up to the top, bring yourself onto your tushy for a second so you can bring your awareness down into your body as you rock side to side on your tushy, feeling the bones of your pelvis. One of the things that's helped me take care of my body as I age is to know about my body. And so I like to share some body awareness aspects so that you can really be familiar with your body. So it's not just on the mat that you know where your bones are, but you actually start to pay attention to how you're standing, sitting, and moving throughout your day. So move back and forth, side to side. If you'd like to close your eyes, close your eyes. And then I want you to notice what's happening to your upper chest. Is it collapsing, caving in towards the ground? And if it is, can you push your chest forward and up and then move your body side to side and notice if that changes anything? Where do you feel the stretching? What do you notice? What do you feel? Coming into your body with your mind and noticing what you notice. And then with that awareness, let's bring ourselves down onto the ground. Coming down onto the ground. Taking your time here to set yourself up into a nice aligned position. Move the blanket so that it's underneath your head, not your upper back, just the head. I mean, maybe your neck touches. My neck doesn't touch. It's only the head that's touching. And then you're going to bring your awareness to your shoulder blades on the upper back, and you're going to rock side to side and tuck your shoulder blade closer to the spine. If you use your arm and you move your arm so your elbow comes closer to your body, that will actually bring the shoulder blade closer to your spine. And then let your body rest on your shoulder blades. Now bring your awareness to your feet, push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, tilt your pelvis backwards, and pull your pelvis away from your rib cage. And then try to put your spine down onto the ground, the low back before the pelvis if you can. Eyes are closed. Feel the pelvis touch the top edge of the pelvis, and then feel the rocking towards the sacrum and the tailbone as your pelvis rocks more towards a neutral position. Let your feet be a little bit wider than your body. The eyes are closed, so feel your way through all of this. And then let your knees fall in towards each other. Bringing your hands onto your belly. Elbows are on the floor. Bring your awareness up to the back of your head and to your neck. And notice if you feel any tension here in the neck. Let's do a couple of neck rolls.
Take a big exhale. Inhale. And on the exhale, let your head roll in one direction. And slowly, with the whole inhale, come back up to center. The entire exhale takes you into the stretch. And the inhale brings you back up to center. Close your eyes. Feel what's happening in the upper spine. Feel what's happening in your neck. See if you could tell that the muscles are getting longer on one side, shorter on the other, contracting and lengthening. And finishing up your last movement, bring yourself back up to center. Feel the weight of your head, feel the center of your head. Let your head go. Let the weight of the head relax towards the ground. Bring your awareness to your jaw. Wiggle your jaw side to side. Open and close your mouth a couple times. And then close your mouth. Breathing in and out through the nose. Just observe what's happening here. Begin to bring your awareness down to your belly. We're going to work on extending our exhalation. When we extend our exhale, we compress more breath out of our lungs, allowing more space for more breath on the inhale. On one hand, this will help to increase oxygen intake, which can increase your energy. And on the other hand, extending the exhale, letting more toxic air leave your body, supports detoxification. One of the main ways the body manages the acidity or the acidosis, the metabolic acidosis, is with the lungs, with exhales and inhales, and kidneys. So let's really use our breath for detoxification and energy purposes. Hands around the belly. You could let the pointer fingers touch your middle fingers, spread your hands wide. Elbows are along the side of the body. Lengthen the back of your neck. Push your heart up towards the sky. Push your shoulder blades towards the ground. And then let your body soften. Breathing down to your belly. Try to keep the chest quiet as you breathe down and you feel your belly rise and fall with breath. So I'd like to count for you. I'm going to do 4 on the inhale and 8 on the exhale. Let's see how this works for you. If this doesn't work, when you go to your own counting, you can cut down and maybe do 4 on the inhale and 6 on the exhale. Let's take a big breath to prepare. Big exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue on your own, counting as you need to, extending your exhalation. Stay with your breath. Feel your hands rise and fall. Extend your exhalation. Then finish the breath that you're on. And take one more breath just like that. And then let the breath go. Bring your arms out to the side. Keep your eyes closed. Bring your arms out to the side, stretching as much as you can, feeling what that does when you take your arms out to the side. And if you're able to take them overhead, bring them overhead, feeling a stretch. Notice where you feel this. You may feel it in the shoulders, you may feel it in the arms, and you may feel it in the belly. So depending on where your body will let you go, stretching the upper body independently of the lower body. So you're going to stretch some of the upper body, stretch muscles that are up there. Let's start to move our hands like a jumping jack. So as you exhale, you bend your elbows, they come down closer to your waist. Go slow. And then as you inhale, palms are up towards the sky, moving your arms overhead towards touching or touching if you can, like a jumping jack. Palms face up towards the sky the whole time. Exhale, bring your elbows as close as you could get them to your waist. Feel what's happening in your shoulder blades and in your shoulders and in your chest. Inhaling, arms are going overhead. Try to see if you can let your arms hover, adding a little bit of strengthening into that shoulder joint. Exhale, elbows towards the waist. Inhale, arms are overhead, working on shoulder joint health, working on posture and alignment. See if you could go a little bigger if that's available to you. Elbows are trying to touch the waist. Push the elbows towards the waist. And then palms stay up towards the sky as you reach up, trying to bring the fingertips towards each other. Last few movements. And then bring yourself back to a position where your arms are alongside your body. Having the shoulder blades on the ground, having your skeleton in this nice aligned position, and then moving your arms while you're in this position, stretching some of the shoulder joint muscles, some of the upper back muscles, neck muscles. You may notice that. You may feel or hear a little clinging and clanging of your bones as you move. You move the muscles and the tendons and the connective tissue that supports your skeleton. Let's come into a fully stretched position if that's available, taking the legs all the way straight. Maybe it's for you, maybe not. If you need to have the knees bent or the arms not so high, that's okay. Let's take an inhale wherever you are and exhale to draw the right knee into your chest. And then inhale to come back. Exhale, draw the left knee into your chest, whether it's from a straight leg position or bent knee position. Inhale back out, moving with breath and movement. Exhale to contract your body, to bend your knee and your hip. Inhale to lengthen your body. Exhale, bend your knee and your hip, draw the knee into your chest. Inhale to lengthen. Nice and slow, whether your legs are straight or your legs are bent, bringing one knee in at a time. If you do have straight legs and you go really slow, lifting the leg up is core work to draw the knee in. It's also core work if you have your knees bent. But you can make this a pretty strong movement by moving very slow and methodical, and try to stabilize your pelvis and not let it tilt. Don't let the low back press towards the ground, unless you have low back issues, and that is something you need to do. So try to keep your pelvis in this neutral position, working isometrically with core muscles, hip flexor muscles, help support posture, balance, fall prevention. Exhale to bring your knee in. Inhale to lengthen. Last one. Let's bend our knees. Bring your hands onto your belly. Notice what you notice. How does your low back feel? One of the muscles that bends the leg and lengthens the leg is attached to your low back. So how does your low back feel as you challenge your low back with that movement? Let's bring a little fluidity into the body. So take the arms out to the side. This is scarecrow arms. I love this because it can stretch your arms, stretches your shoulders, stretches your chest. It helps to correct posture. And for most of us, that is something we always need to work on. And even more so as we age, and even more so if you have osteoporosis. So bring your arms as high as your shoulders will let them go. Keep your hands away from your body. You're not trying to bring your hands close to your body. Your hands are growing straight out of the elbows. Then take your feet as wide as your mat. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. Keep your pelvis stationary. Press your sacrum into the ground. Low back is not touching. And then start to let your knees move side to side, keeping the soles of the feet on the floor. Move really slowly. See if you could feel the muscles that mobilize the hips stretching. Keep your pelvis stationary. Then you need to use your core for that. So you're using the core to stabilize the trunk as you move your legs. And a lot of people that I work with, I notice that they get very stuck here and sticky. They don't have the ability to move the legs independent of everything else because there's so much protection over the years in their body. So try to keep your pelvis stable as you move your legs. Bring yourself back up to center. We're going to go a little bigger now. You're going to let your knees go to the side. Let the soles come off the floor. Your pelvis is going to rock a little. You're going to stretch your core muscles. Exhale, press your belly back towards your spine to come back up. Go slow. Slower is harder. It's more advanced. It's a stronger practice for your joints. Exhale to come back up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, contract your core to come back up. Last one. And then bring yourself back up to center. Take a break. Let your knees fall into each other if you'd like. Be in your sacrum, in your pelvis. When you go slow like this, you stretch the muscles that stabilize and mobilize the hip joint. They are attached to the leg. And so when you move slowly like that, you're going to stretch. You may feel some of your sacroiliac joints or your sacrum. So the sacroiliac joint where the sacrum attaches to the pelvis. If you feel stuff in the middle of the lower part of your body, that's because the end part of the muscles that move the hip side to side are attached to your sacrum in the middle of your pelvis. Take your arms out to the side. Take your legs wide now, all the way off the mat if that's appropriate. And then let's open the legs a little, or as much as you can actually, and then bring the knees towards each other. Go slow here. Internal, external hip joint rotators. Close your eyes. Exhale to draw the knees in towards each other. Press the belly button towards the spine. Inhale to allow lengthening. Exhale to contract. Do they feel the same on both sides? Do you feel tighter on one side? Bring your knees back up to a neutral position. Exhale. Closing the eyes. Inhale, lengthen your legs towards the side. And the leg that's going in towards the middle, push into the big toe edge of that foot. Push that knee away from you towards the bottom of your mat. And try to push your hip up towards the sky, really lengthening the side body of the leg that's moving in towards the midline. As you exhale, contract your core, push your belly button towards your spine, protect your low back to come back up to center. Inhale slowly to let your knees move towards the other side. The leg that's coming in towards the middle, push that away from you. Push that hip up towards the sky. Push that big toe edge into the ground. Stretch your hips. And exhale back to center. Move slowly with awareness, closing your eyes, feeling your way through these hip stretches. Think about the knee that comes in towards the middle, pushes away from you. That'll help to get a little more length. Last one on each side. And then bring yourself back up to center. Walk your feet back to a neutral position. Walk them back to neutral. Bring your hands onto your belly. Rest. And from here, draw the knees into your chest. one at a time, eyes are closed. I want you to feel all the aspects of your pelvis, of your hips, and of your low back, of the connection of this part of your body, and working slowly to develop strength in your joints, flexibility in your joints, increase the range of motion, and make yourself have dancing hips. Hold on to the top of your knees. So bring your hands onto your kneecaps. Hold the weight of your legs with your hands. Squeeze your fingers into your legs because you're holding the weight of your legs. Then let your legs move away from you. Your arms go straight. This can bring a nice release to the low back. So bring your awareness to the low back, holding them to your kneecaps pretty tightly with your hands. So you're holding your legs up. Inhale. As you exhale, eyes are closed. Slowly draw the knees towards your chest. Feel how the low back presses into the ground. The pelvis tilts backwards. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. Go slow. Feel yourself rocking back and forth on your pelvis. So this movement back and forth like this happens all day long. When you reach for something, when you're gardening, when you're cooking, when you're reading, when you're making tea, when you're cooking, when you're standing up, wherever your head goes, your pelvis is trying to balance your head and balance your rib cage. So become familiar with these muscles that move and stabilize your pelvis. Bring yourself to straight arms, holding onto your knees. Exhale. Inhale, spread your legs apart. And then exhale, draw the legs towards you, towards each other. And then inhale to push the legs away and spread the legs apart. Begin the exhale, draw the knees towards you and each other. Inhale, away and apart. Inhale towards you and together. And then turn this into a circle. Close your eyes, feel your pelvis rocking, feel the leg muscles stretching, noticing what you notice. Let's switch the direction, bring the legs in towards you. Inhale to separate the legs, move them away from you, together, and exhale towards you, away, inhale, away, and together. Big circle here. You inhale when your arms are straight, you exhale when your arms are bent or your joints are bending. And then bring your legs on the ground, feet on the ground, hands on your belly. In the practice of yoga, when you're doing your practice of yoga, coming onto the ground or whatever you're doing, the breath is matched with the joint movements. When we unbend and lengthen our body is when we inhale. And when we bend or fold, that's an exhale. So we inhale to open and become big and spread ourselves. We exhale to contract and come closer to ourselves. Inhale to expand, exhale to contract. Let's take the awareness now to the core because this is a very big part of stabilizing your pelvis and protecting your back and protecting your hips and protecting your posture. So let's take the block between the legs. This is going to be a spinal undulation. You have 26 bones from tailbone to the top of your spine. We're going to try to bend it in one direction and bend it in the other direction, feeling your way through this. If you have osteoporosis, you don't want to compress the front of your spine. So if I come into a compression state like this, if I had osteoporosis, mine would look like this, still activating all the muscles here, still pressing my spine all the way down to the ground, adding flexion wherever it's appropriate, and leaving it out of where it's not. So without osteoporosis, you could come through the full range of motion. With osteoporosis, you keep your elbows out to the side. So choosing what's appropriate for you, bring your hands behind your head, block is between your legs. Do a couple of squeezes with the block, pretty firm. I want you to feel those adductors, the inner thigh muscles, activating. These are important muscles for hip joint health, for low back health, for figuring out where your pelvis is throughout the day, for stabilizing and mobilizing it. Elbows are out to the side. Press the elbows into the ground. Press the shoulder blades into the ground, squeezing your block. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your block. Start to tilt your pelvis back. Press your low back into the ground, lifting your upper body off the ground, either keeping the elbows out with osteoporosis or bringing them towards each other if you don't have osteoporosis. And then slowly inhaling to lower down. Let the low back move away from the ground. Feel the tailbone pressing strongly into the ground. And then exhale into your flexion, bending your spine forward. Inhale into opening your spine in the front, lengthening your spine. Exhale to bending your spine, contracting your core. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Stretch the vertebra. Stretch the muscles of the vertebra. Bring yourself down, finishing up that last movement. Keep the block here. Bring your hands onto your belly to rest. Notice how your low back was managing that. Notice if there's shaking anywhere in your body. Sometimes when we use muscles we're not used to using, we might have shakiness. And because we're slowing down the practice and being very intentional, we're working a lot of the stabilizing muscles, trying to not let the big mover muscles take over, being very focused. There's a lot of small spinal movement in the muscles, small muscles involved. Take your hands out to the side. Let your elbows go out to the side. Clasp your hands. Let your head rest in your hands. And really lengthen your elbows away from you. Feel the shoulder blades sliding towards each other. Feel the armpit stretching here. You could use your hands to add a little traction in your neck, getting a little taller in your neck. Elbows are out to the side. Block is between your knees. Feet, the toes are pointing forward. Let's take an inhale here. And as you exhale, you're going to lift yourself up. Keep your elbows out to the side. Let your low back press towards the ground. And inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Contract your core. Let your low back press into the ground. Keep your elbows out to the side. Inhale to lower. One more like this. Inhale to lower. On your next exhale, keep your pelvis stationary. So don't let your low back move at all. Lift your upper body off the floor. It'll move a little less. Inhale to lower. Exhale to contract your core. Keep your back where it is. Keep your spine where it is. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. One more. Inhale to lower. Keep your elbows on the ground. Keep your pelvis on the ground. Exhale and inhale. As you exhale, press your right elbow into the ground. Lift your body off the ground and start to point the left elbow over towards the right. Inhale slowly to lower. Exhale, press the left elbow into the ground, lifting up. Right elbow points over to the left. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise over to the right. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise to the left. Inhale to lower. Keep going. Close your eyes. See if you could feel your spine. Try to not let the low back move. Feel the pelvis in the ground. Feel the rib cage rotating. So try to isolate this into the upper thoracic spine. One more each side. Inhale to lower. Take the block out to the side. Draw your knees into your chest, noticing what you notice about your spine, your low back, how it responds. And then bring your feet onto the ground. So we're going to be continuing with this stabilizing movement, being very aware of our trunk, what happens to our low back, and how does our low back manage what we're doing, whether that was the upper body we were moving. We're going to move the lower body as well this time and see how the low back manages this. So this is the core and the stabilization aspects of the trunk. We're challenging it. This just so happens to also challenge your brain, this next one. So the next one that we're going to do, we're going to use opposite hand, opposite leg to move one at a time. And this also challenges the brain to keep one arm and one leg stationary while the other one moves. So bring yourself up into this position. Knees closer to the chest if your low back doesn't like this. How far away you go from your body is determined by how strong your core is to stabilize your trunk. You want your pelvis to stay in a neutral. Low back is not touching the ground. Activate your core, really hugging your lumbar spine with your core muscles. Exhale. Inhale, left hand, right leg. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, right hand, left leg. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, right leg, left hand. Back to center. Inhale. And exhale. Closing your eyes, move through a couple yourself. Notice what happens to your pelvis, to your core. Go slow. Slower is harder. And then finishing your last one, draw your knees into your chest. rock side to side. And then roll on to your side. Giving your spine a break. When you roll onto the side, you give it a break from having to manage your body in that position. So rolling to the side can be a nice way to release or relieve tension, especially if you're challenging yourself like we just were with some of those core exercises. And then come back onto your back. And sometimes that's all you need is to switch positions to release some tension. Let's get our strap. Keep your knees bent for this. I find that when the knees are bent, you can get a little deeper in your stretch. So bring the right leg in and let's put the strap on the right foot. Moving up and down the foot, flossing the foot, getting some heat to come into your feet. I know that some people have neuropathy as they age. Sometimes there's a cause, sometimes there's no known cause. So trying to get as much of our body to still stay online and aware as possible. Squishing our tissue. That's what that flossing reminds me of, that I'm really keeping everything active and online. Let's take the strap, wrap your hands around the strap so you get a nice firm hold. Keep the left leg bent. And then draw the knee closer to your chest. So you can bend the leg here, taking a little tension out. Inhale, and then exhale to straighten your leg. Inhale to bend, and exhale to straighten. So bringing a little bit of blood and fluids to the muscles, to the joints, warming up that leg. And then bring your leg to a straight leg position and begin to draw it back towards the wall behind you. If you keep your knees straight, you'll be pulling on your pelvic bone, creating some bone building stimulation in your pelvis. If your knee is bent, you'll be in the belly of the muscle, more in the meaty part of the muscle, the center of the back of the thigh. So they all have a certain purpose, stretching the ends or the middle. Take your leg back, feel the stretch, whatever feels appropriate for you. Go a little deeper if that feels okay today. Keep your right waist nice and long. And then bring yourself back up to center. Take the strap in the left hand. So this is the right leg and you have the left hand strap. Try to keep your leg pretty high. So don't let the leg go away from your body. Keep the leg pretty high. A little bit of an internal rotation so your big toe moves towards the left. Keep the leg pretty high, even if the leg is bent. And then draw the leg over towards the left to wherever you feel a pretty deep stretch. And it may feel pretty intense. So this is a band of tissue that is attached to the pelvis. It's a muscle on the top. Then it turns into strong connective tissue to support your knee. And it attaches to the lower leg bone, the iliotibial band, IT band. See if you, whatever distance you could go to feel the appropriate stretch for you. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take that foot out. Let's bring the other leg up. So left leg, putting the strap on the leg or on the foot. And then flossing. Try to go all over the foot if you can. And then bring your foot, the strap's on the center. Bring your hands onto the strap, wrap your hands pretty strongly. Let's inhale to draw the knee pretty deep towards your chest and exhale to straighten. Notice how your hip joint moves when you do this. Notice how your knee moves, your hip. And then bring your leg up. Let's come into a pretty deep stretch, whatever you can handle. Straight leg, pulling on the pelvis, creating bone building stimulation, or bending the knee and you're in the belly of the hamstring muscle in the center of the back of the leg. Go a little deeper if that's available to you. And then relax. Take the strap in your right hand. Bring the leg pretty high, slightly internally rotate, turning your toe to the right. And then start to guide the leg over to the right, feeling that intensity in the muscles along the side of the left leg. Go to where you feel a stretch, and then stop or go a little farther if that's appropriate for your body. And then bring yourself out. Let's bring the right leg up in the sky. Take your strap pretty wide, stretching your inner thighs here. Go as wide as you can, with straight legs if you can. And then, of course, if you can't do straight legs, you could do bent knees. And then if you're able to rock your foot, the sole of your foot onto your strap, you could try rocking your foot. And then bend your knees, draw your knees towards your body. And then take your strap off. Knees into the chest. Bring your feet onto the ground, hands on the belly. So we're going to do bridge. We're going to move through a flowing bridge. I think this is probably one of the most valuable things to do for healthy aging, regardless of whatever issues you have, because this is great for low back, for hip, for knees, for osteoporosis, for staying strong in your muscles, staying strong in your bones, staying strong in your tissues, staying strong in your stabilizing aspects. So I think that bridge posture is one of the most valuable. So we're going to move through an undulation of the spine, pushing away from the ground. I really want you to focus on this part of your body, your glutes, where your legs attach to your body. So not so much about trying to get high and away from the floor and bending your spine, but really think about this part of your body pushing away from the ground. Then your arms are either going to be down by the side of your body to help lift the rib cage away, or you could have bent arms. You're not going to look side to side. You're going to close your eyes and feel your way through these movements. We'll do a couple of dynamic movements in bridge, and then we'll come to a held position in bridge. So let's take the block between our legs to work on that stabilizing aspect. And then lift your feet off the floor and let them rest where they rest. So they're not too close to your body. They're pretty much where they need to be. Then you squeeze the block. Take the blanket away from the back of the head. Rock side to side so that your shoulder blades slide towards your spine. Lift your head, lengthen the back of the neck. Palms are down, arms are straight, or bend the elbows if that's better for you. Let's begin by squeezing the block, tilting the pelvis backwards, flattening the low back into the ground. Exhale. As you inhale, peel your spine up slowly, pushing away from the ground with your arms and your feet. You may come up to about the heart level, And then exhale to slowly put your spine back down onto the ground, all the way to the tailbone. Inhale, squeeze the block and rise. Exhale and lower. Go with your breath. A few more moving. Go slow, breath with movement. Feel your way. Feel what's happening in your body. Where is your asymmetry? Are you perfectly aligned? Do you feel the same on both sides, or do you feel different things on different sides? On the next one, we're going to come up and we're going to hold for 3 breaths. And then slowly bring yourself all the way down. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. Take the block off to the side. Draw your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. A really good practice to do on a daily basis, or close to that if you could, would be to come down on the ground and to explore bridge posture and the many different facets of that posture. You could put the block between your legs or not. You could have your legs farther away from your body or closer. You could stay up and hold for a longer time or continue to keep moving through it. Coming onto the side, cradle your head in your hand. Bring your hand in front of you. We're going to do a little practice to get up using momentum of the leg here. I want you to really focus on the pushing muscles, keeping your upper body nice and strong. So you take your hand on the ground. Your upper leg, when we come up, you're going to push away and let that help bring you up with the hands pushing, so that your head and your back don't do the work. You don't pull up, but instead you push. Let's take a big inhale. As you exhale, push your leg, push your hand into the ground, and bring yourself up. Clear your space if your stuff is in your way. And then let's get the blanket, moving the blanket underneath the knees. So we're going to do a little bit on our hands and knees, and this is really important for healthy aging, to keep your wrists strong, to keep the bendability in the joints of the wrists. For some of you, that may be a challenge, so I would implore you to bring a little bit more of that into your life in whatever way you need. When we come onto our hands and knees, now we have gravity pushing down from a different direction. We get some settling of joints when we come onto the all fours position. And then we allow the pelvis to move when we're on all fours. So let's take your hands pretty far forward so that you're not doing too much with the wrists yet. And then push yourself around in your shoulders and your hips by moving side to side. And you may even feel a nice stretch, especially in the hip joint area, as you really push your hips side to side. And bringing yourself back to center. Bring yourself forward. That's going to load up the wrist. That may feel a little intense. And then slowly start to push yourself back. Bringing yourself forward. And then bringing yourself back. Let your toenails touch the ground.
You move forward and you move back. Bring yourself forward, bring yourself back. And then bring yourself all the way up and bring yourself all the way out, because being on your wrist for a while might be a bit much. Take your hands, shake your hands. And then go ahead and have a seat. If you can, so if you can have a seat, have a seat. And if not, that's okay. This could be a little gauge for you to see where you are with your knees. And bring yourself back up. Let's do a spinal balance. So if you need to do something for your wrists, rolling up the front of the mat is helpful for a lot of people to help take that bend out of the wrist. So if you need to do something, do something. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your pelvis. You're going to slide your right hand forward, slide your left hand back. Take an exhale, and then inhale to lift your limbs up, exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Keep your head active. Try to let the heel be what reaches up in the back, your hand in the front. On this next one, you're going to come up and hold for a couple of breaths. Turn your palm inward, thumb up towards the sky. And then bring your hands down. Let's take the right leg out, left hand forward, exhale. Inhale to rise, exhale to lower. Inhale, exhale. Go slow. Close your eyes, feel what you're doing. If you do close your eyes, it's going to bring a little bit of issues with balance, so notice that. Next one, you're going to come up and stay up. And then bring yourself out. Come up. That posture is called spinal balance. It's a great way to strengthen the back of the body that in the way that it works for posture. So we're going to do a little now to lengthen our spine, to stretch our chest, to stretch the side of the body. This actually helps to move some lymphatic fluids as well. So it's really good for immune health to keep your lymph flowing. So you're going to bring yourself forward, bring your hands forward. You're bending your hip joint here as you come into what's called puppy dog, or a version of extended puppy dog. Forehead on the ground if you can, arms are wide. Push your chest towards the ground. Push your forehead into the ground. Spread your hands. Push your armpits towards the ground. Take one more breath. You're going to walk your hands over to the right. Walk your hands over to the right as far as you can get them. Let the left hand creep away from you so you feel a strong stretch in the left side. And then rest your head on your left arm. Push your left hip to the left. Deep breaths here, stretching that left side of your body. Make sure that your pelvis is moving back. It's not on your heels, but it's moving back. It's above your calf. It's not right above the knee joint. So the farther back your pelvis is, the deeper the stretch will be in this upper part of the body. Take one more breath.
Now you're gonna bring your hands, you're gonna walk over to the left now. When you get there, let the right hand creep away a little bit more, pressing your palms into the ground. Rest your head on top of your right arm and push your hips to the right. Feel a deep stretch on the right side of your body. From the pelvis all the way up to the armpits and maybe even the arms. One more breath. And then bring yourself up. Back to center. Realign. Push your forehead into the ground. Push your armpits to the ground. Push your heart towards the ground. And then lift your head and bring yourself back up.
Come all the way out. Flip your toes under if you can. Shake your wrists. Wow. That felt pretty deep to me, that stretch. And we're definitely moving slower today, so it's a lot harder. We're loading up the joints longer and slower. We're entering them slowly, loading them up, and coming out slowly. So there's a lot of joint strengthening taking place today, of those little stabilizing muscles that hold you into a perfect postural position that'll minimize wear and tear in your joints, minimize arthritis. You may even be releasing some arthritic deposits that were getting ready to set up residence in your joints and become hard and stiff and uncomfortable. You may actually be setting them back into the system to be metabolized and processed. So we're going to come down onto the ground. We're going to let all of that beautiful work sink into our body, become a new memory of whatever new alignment principles you brought into your body today. So get yourself ready for Shavasana, whatever that looks like for you, getting a blanket ready, and then we're going to come down onto the ground. Any last minute, anything you need to do, knees to chest, or let your limbs settle into your body. And then bring yourself into your Shavasana. Let go, let whatever it is that takes over for you. Surrender your body, your weight, your mind, everything. Focus on your breath.
Mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimname akame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimname akame. Govinde, Mukande, Udare, Apare, Hariyam, Hariyam, Yename, Kande, Govinde, Mukande, Udare, Apare, Hariyam, Hariyam, Yename, Kande. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring movement into your fingers, your toes. Gently bend your knees, draw your knees into your chest. Move side to side. Bring yourself all the way onto your side. Pushing yourself up to a seated position. Closing your eyes. Bring your hands together at your heart, pressing your heart to your hands, hands to the heart. Long spine. We'll close with sound, a nice humming sound. Exhale. Inhale. We bow to each other in gratitude. Thank you. So I hope you feel good. It's a lot of great joint work we did today. Nice, strong joint work. Nancy, I hope that was okay for you. So would anybody like to share how they're feeling? Thank you, Michael. All right. Well, I hope you could hear me. I hope everything was okay. Good. Yeah, Peg, that sounds great. Ah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. For those of you that have osteoporosis, if you are looking for ways to go a little deeper, I have a new program I'm putting together this fall. So if you're not on my newsletter, get on my newsletter. That's going out today. DebbieRobinson.com. Yeah, nice and slow, right? Oh, lovely. There's that word lovely. Stretched out. Good. Yes. All right. Thank you. You did me. That's what I love, Nancy. That's what you should do. Wherever you are is where you should be. All right. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll see you when I see you.